Hi, it's your friend Bridget Willard here. That's Diesel right there. One of the things I've learned from being a SaaS marketer and working in retail is that not everything works quite the way you wanted it to. So take returns or online purchases as a return. There's a great feature, digital receipts. Who doesn't love a digital receipt? We don't get enough email anyway, right? So you have your receipt, you show your receipt to the cashier, she scans it, they scan it. Only what if your phone is in dark mode? So what I want to talk today about is consequences of design decisions. Excuse me, cat. Consequences of doing recording late when your cat already thinks you should be watching TV. Excuse me, sir. So in proper news style, I have some notes here, and I want to talk to you about not just dark mode, okay? Because I do have a few rants in me about dark mode. One of them being probably the CFO who is making the decision whether or not to purchase your SaaS as part of their technical stack. Probably wears one of these. For the young people in the crowd, they're called readers or cheaters, and they're magnifying glasses basically that help you see better. These are Betsy Johnson's, and they are 1.5 magnification. So these help. Obviously, they don't have blue light blocking. That would be good if I sat here all day, but I don't. Regardless, so all of your decisions on your features, on your design, on the user experience, on the user interface, they all have consequences, and that's all part of marketing. So when you're going ahead and you're making your website dark mode, you got to remember you are not your audience. Other founders are most likely not your audience. And the people who are your audience are people who are probably above 50 years old, 40 years old, and 40 to 50-year-olds who are making these decisions on whether or not to purchase your SaaS, whether or not to engage in this website, whether or not to change their stack, their tech stack, their website, their payment processor, whatever it is. And I see this a lot. It's so easy to make a website for us, for myself, for what I like, for what represents me. And I've done it, and I've had actually better consequences, right? Better results. Consequences aren't necessarily negative, right? So if you do X, then Y happens. If you drop a phone, it will fall to the ground on Earth because of our gravity, right? On the moon, it'll just float away and you'll never get it back, right? So everything has a consequence. Every action has an equal reaction. Yes. So if you're familiar with any kind of scientific laws, laws of science, laws of physics, these kinds of things don't they don't confound us in other contexts. Meaning, when we're when we throw a ball and it hits something and it comes back to us, that's not a big surprise because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's magnets pushing each other away, all these things. But when it comes to representing ourselves, our software, our piece of SaaS, our SaaS product, our product line, we tend to think of it as vanity metrics. Vanity meaning how many impressions am I getting? How many clicks am I getting? What kind of SEO is there? And if you've seen any of these videos, or maybe you're just landing on this one today, SEO is as far as keyword research, is way down the line in the buyer journey because if you're in SaaS, if you're an AI powered, agentic powered SaaS in 2026, then you're in the category creation business. And if you're in the category creation business, there's no SEO. There's only distribution. And so that's what I do, right? So um, when I'll just tell you that story. So we Mondays is our biggest day of returns. This is not a surprise to anybody who thinks, oh yeah, I bought all this stuff on the weekend, and then they look at their bank balance and they're like, shit, I gotta go return this stuff. I call it Regret Monday. And even the data shows us that at our store, that is the biggest day. And so they'll have these digital receipts, which are great, until their phone is in dark mode. Why is it a problem? Because the scanners don't have enough contrast to scan the barcode. So then, against policy, we basically have to take the customer's phone and read the little numbers on there that we can type in. So instead of it being contactless, instead of it being more efficient, it actually becomes less efficient. That's the consequence of your design because you're not thinking that users are using dark mode, especially younger users. Older users are not. We already have enough trouble with our eyes. You turn 40 and it feels like you wake up to reading glasses on your pillow next to you. It's amazing what happens. Me, I had LASIK 6 years ago. Just this year, I've really, really needed my reading glasses because your eyes age. Whatever you did, that restarts the aging process. So maybe I didn't need glasses as long as I did, and I don't always have to have glasses, but that's a realistic thing. So when you're talking accessibility, it's not just people who are blind, it's people who are trying to do what you intended them to do on your website, with your software, with your digital receipt. Is it accessible? Is it available to them? Right? People are, I mean, today was a worldwide developer conference for Apple. The last I saw about it, they were saying that Siri is going to be agentic with Gemini, which is nice because as a lover of Apple and Google, I feel like they're my divorced parents, always buying for my loyalty. Be that as it may, you want to go ahead and think through those design decisions, those UI decisions, those product feature decisions. Ask somebody who isn't you, who isn't like you. That the famous ask your grandma question. What does this do? Why do I need it? What does it serve? What problem does it solve? Does it create more problems? Because in the case of scanning the barcode on dark mode, which doesn't work, what ends up happening is what? The line backs up because it's not as efficient. The customer in front of you is upset. The customers in the line are upset. And there's a whole vibe of being upset because this feature that was supposed to make it easy doesn't. There's another feature that doesn't make it easy. And I'm not trying to badmouth my part-time employer, but getting a single-use credit card, right? Scan a QR code should be so easy. Everybody knows how to do it since COVID. No, everybody does not know how to do it. Even if they know how to point their camera, they might not know to touch the link. And then what happens is you get a security text and you press the link on the security text and it comes back to another window and it says, okay, you're fine. And then they don't know that they need to look at all the tabs they have in Safari and open the other one because that's where the single use card is, right? You have to test your software as if you are a user. And you can't always do that. That's why there's tools like Hotjar at all. I mean, I know there's tons of newer tools. I just know Hotjar. But either way, that kind of user testing. You know where else you could do user testing? Product demos. How do you get those demo signups? That goes back to distribution. It goes back to where my lane is. Creating that desire, the need, the awareness that your product is solving a problem the customer may not even know they had, right? So, oh, I didn't know that was a choice. Even the other day, I talked to somebody who didn't realize that you can compose your blog posts, articles, whatnot in Google Docs, and then copy paste into Gutenberg full site editor, WordPress 7.0 or WordPress 5.0 and forward, right? With no span codes, and it retains all the formatting. This is an experienced developer who builds themes and plugins and tinkers with Claude all day. Doesn't know it because that's not what they do with WordPress, right? So for me, I didn't think there was a need for collaboration tools in WordPress when you have Google Docs. Why are you trying to be Google Docs? This is just too JavaScript heavy. It's too greedy. And to do that in the browser while you're already your website's already too slow. That's a totally different rant. But again, what are the consequences of these features? Is it slowing your website down, dark mode? Is it making it so that people don't stay on the site? How's your time on site? Whatever it's called in GA4, I should know this, but that to me means people are reading. You really do want them to go through the demo stage, right? So let's say they fill out a form and now they have to get an email from you that gives them a link to book. This is too many steps. Why are you making it so hard for somebody to make that impulse buy of booking a demo? You should be able to use Neato Calendar. That's free. Neato Cal is free. Calendly, there's so many. Dayslice, whatever it is. HubSpot, they all have calendars. Embed it on your book a demo page. Let the customer pick that time slot right now. And if you're worried about what would you be worried about? People spamming you? You know what I do with the people who spam me? I use that opportunity to sell them. And then I get on calls with them and they're like, wow, I didn't know you did that. And then they tell other people about me. So if you're in B2B, you might as well just go ahead and have those calls. Or you could cancel them. You have the choice to do that, right? But make it easy for the people to be your customers. Make the consequences shorter. Make the steps shorter. Make it easier. You want to do a survey, don't have 5 pages that they're going to do on their mobile phone. They're going to bounce. Nobody wants to do that unless they're getting gift cards or something. And even then, I can't even tell you how many surveys I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. It's too much. It's too repetitive. It's too long. The fonts are bad. The fonts are small. The fonts are hard to read. I don't care anymore, right? So you want to, you know what? This has already been 13 minutes, but I'll also say mega menus, just stop. Just stop. Stop trying to call your blog something else. Stop bearing it under resources and just call it blog. Everybody knows /blog is where the blog lives. Just let it be there, right? You're you're not making the software so that you can get an award from your peers. You're not trying to be on Twitter as a creator to get revenue share. You're trying to book demos so that people will download and pay for your SaaS. So think about that. If you do want to book with me, I will put the link in the video description. Just find me at bridgetwiller.com. I I make my booking link pretty easy to find. And I would love to either work with you or do a paid consultation. Either way, totally fine. But I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, developers. You are not your audience. Your friends who are also developers and founders are not your audience. They're too educated. They don't know. If you're having trouble with your demos, getting your first 10 customers, start with the basics. Bye.